Hey, what's up guys, Dishsoap here. It's been a long time, but I've been doing pretty well. The reason the uploads haven't been coming is my editors were actually on vacation, and when they came back from vacation, I was busy prepping for regionals. Just to explain to her what I've been doing the past month, there was the Tactician's Crown 2, or sorry, it was the Tactician's Cup 2. Sorry, these tournament names are so confusing. The cup is like a qualifier tournament and stuff, but I actually won that one, and there probably was gonna be a video on that if my editors were available. I mean, I could have done it myself, but I don't. Yeah, and then 2 weeks after that was the regionals tournament I just played in a few days ago, and I came in second in the regionals tournament. I mean, winning the cup is good, and going second in regionals is amazing, but to glaze myself even further, between all of that, I had a 20-game streak, all top 4s in a row, if you combine both tournament days. And in regionals itself, I bought forward only one game out of the whole tournament. And in this video, I'm just gonna quickly go over all of my regionals games. It's not gonna really be that much of a VOD review. That would be way too many games, but I think my main advantage playing regionals and top 4ing as much as I did is choosing the correct line. So that's mainly what I'm gonna be focused on here. I don't really know how this is gonna be edited down to a reasonable level for viewing, but maybe it'll work. But yeah, in this video, I'm just gonna be going over my stage 1 and stage 2 augment, showing what lines and comps I go for, and then explaining why, and then I should be able to do that for every single game I've played. So let's jump into it. First off, Vander Gold Portal not really that relevant for decision making. When you have the Kog'Maw drop here, holding the Amumu is a little bit better, but honestly, the Kog'Maw opener is not that good. He really needs a few items to shine. God, this is actually a really awkward hold. I think you can go two ways. It's either you do what I do here and you don't buy any of the one costs and rely on always playing around the Watcher and the Kog'Maw opener, which is it's a 50-50, it's okay. You could sell the Rennie and hold more one cost pairs with I believe it was Lux double Aurelia. You could do that. The issue with that play in my mind is I think Rennie and Kim Baron in general is just broken, and you might be leaving some high rolls off the table if you do that. Also, just Rennie is probably the best 1-star tank in the game that you can get dropped out of box. Maybe Swain when you actually have Sorkson are better. I mean, Swain's usually better because you can usually make a better backline with him because of his traits. You can't really make no traits really pair with Rennie for backline damage. Just as a pure tank, I think she's better. So yeah, I choose to just not hold the Aurelia, which I think is fine. After the shop, I think I just want to sell the Kog'Maw though, because I'm likely going to play around Trundle, Rennie, double powder, and it doesn't really look like I'm going to have an item for the Kog'Maw, so it's not really going to do that much. It'll just give one automata proc. Okay, here, the gold investment strategy is kind of bad. I would consider it on very, very heavy econ openers, and you have a board that you already have your unit set up. You want to play this in a reroll comp. I think the gold one is not that powerful though. I think the prismatic one you take a lot more often. The gold one I think you rarely take. You would only take it on a gold opener with all your units already. That's not really the spot. Conquer Emblem, I don't have a Draven. I also don't have I don't have even Darius Pair. I don't think you can take this without a super giga start. I think it's just at the highest level, it's just mid. I don't love BRB as well, especially without any pairs. If you have pairs, it's more reasonable, but I've grown to dislike this augment a lot, and I couldn't really explain why, because on the surface, it's just a fine augment. It's 4 components, you get to choose full items. It's good. I've had really negative experience with it. I would default out of if I had to pick out of these 3, I would default BRB, but I'm not looking to take it here. The best thing you can possibly take in this scenario is Econ, because we're just not strong at all. We can make a BT for a melee carry. If you actually had a melee carry here, it would be reasonable to take an item augment and play for some tempo, like a Darius 2 or something, but we just don't have that. I would probably take Salvagement over BRB just for the chance of seeing a better econ augment. I don't think Salvagement's amazing, it's just okay. But I think an econ augment clears so hard here that you just reroll it. One for all is you can take it playing family, basically. It's actually pretty good for family, but I'm not playing family, at least in this spot. I think you play family when you have lots of Violets and Dravens. I just take Wandering here for direction, mainly. There's a little bit of gold. I'm kind of split between a lot of different front lines and openers with the units I held, so this clears it up for me a little bit. Here, you can commit to a comp here. Obviously, Experiment Dominator is exactly Mundo, so you probably want to play Mundo on your board regardless. But it doesn't mean you have to play Twitch. You can easily play just normal Dominators with this, and in fact, I think that's probably usually a better thing to do. I think Twitch after the sniper nerf is like a little sus. It's okay though. But obviously if you like have a good Twitch angle, you just play Twitch. So here I'm just between the two comps, and what you do if you're in a spot like this where it's like you can play one of two things is you just like wait for the clear sign that you should be playing one line over another. Like obviously you could analyze a bunch of these decisions I make. I'm not really here to do them. I'm just trying to find the one spot where I like decide to set my comp. Oh yeah, I'm waiting to see if I get the Silco pattern augment before I reforge, because I'm looking to reforge one of these rods. Oh yeah, okay, this spot's kind of hard as well. Like goddamn. So it's like mana flow for Silco, or it's Pyromaniac for Twitch. I think both of those augments are fantastic for the respective lines. I think you could just 50-50 it, or just play whatever comp you like more. I think I took Pyromaniac because I was worried that like, I don't even know, like you could easily take mana flow here. It's like good. The one thing that's like a little awkward about Silco is that like I don't have like any of the dominators at all right now. Like I don't even have a single Ziggs even. And I would actually care about that stuff. And also Silco's kind of expensive. I mean, Twitch is expensive as well. But I basically decided to go Twitch here off of a whim. Like this spot, it wasn't very clear. If I didn't see like the mana flow or something and it was only the red buff augment, like it'd be pretty obvious Twitch, but like I'm kind of just flipping a coin here. I guess you could also argue you could take red buff and like play either comp, because I guess you could do that. Like then after I forge the rod, it's like I get the full IE and then half of it Ginsu, so it's just Twitch. So yeah, that's how I decided to play Twitch that game. I think it was like a fourth or a third. I think I hit like a Mel and went fourth. I hit like a Mel's R2 with experiments about it. It was so bad. It was worthless. I sold that shit for Mel and immediately started winning rounds. Yeah, I just played some 5 experiment garbage and went third. I mean, that's pretty good. Which without like some extreme high rolls is not really gonna contest top 2 most of the time. Like you need like Caitlyn and stuff to really be competitive. Like Caitlyn 2 itemized. That's a third to start the tournament. All right, next game. Hopefully this this format is somewhat easy to comprehend. I mean, I could have just gone through like the most like exciting games, but I think just like showing off a variety of games where I like decide my line might be helpful. When this video comes out, it's likely going to be on the new patch, but I don't think the meta is going to change that much. I think the only thing that's really going to be different is maybe backline Elise is going to be more prevalent, but backline Elise has a lot of issues besides just her damage. Yeah, it should be a pretty similar meta. This Vi portal I think showed up for me so often in this tournament, which was actually something that like I used to like not really like. I think this used to be like my worst portal, and then I kind of started doing a few things that helped me get a lot better at this portal. One was heavily prioritize finding some kind of reroll line. The reroll lines get a lot better when you can force BIS and not be forced to like lose streak stage 2 all the time. Like if you have a line for a reroll comp, you can actually sometimes even win streak even. And 2, I'm prioritizing econ augments like heavily, because unless you're like getting a turbo spike out of getting an item augment, the econ's just gonna go such a far way because you don't really need the items and you already have like a good idea of what you want to force, and then just having that money to be able to force what you play is very, very good. Just to speak about like lines we could play here, get the Triss drop, have like the Sentinel, Morgana, Renata. So definitely playing either around this Trist or this Visionary stuff. Specifically, this Morgana line on the Vi portal gets a lot better. The Morgana reroll, because she needs blue buff. She is not a playable unit without blue buff, and just having 2 anvils makes that a lot more doable. It's a comp I like to play in this a lot more, but I'm also just willing to play Trist, right? Trist on stage 1 can guarantee a lot of stacks, and you can get items for her as well, get more stacks. So I'm either between one of those. Teardrop here makes Morgana a little more appealing. Probably planning to hold Vex and Step Bear here. I think if I were to play this again, I would be more confident that it's just a reroll comp always here. Like it's like fundamentally good to hold like Step Pair and Maddie for like your early game. And I don't think Renata's that important for the Morgana comp, but like say I hit like Morgana 2, Singe 2, I probably want the Renata over like this Vex, and I feel like I'm already committed to a reroll line. I don't really think there's that much value holding the Bruiser when I already have all the other Bruisers. So I guess that's a mistake, but again, the Renata doesn't matter that much. Okay, an exception to always taking econ is extent of items is I think Portable Forge on this portal goes extremely hard as well, because a lot of times like when you take Portable Forge on 2-1 and you get like an artifact that's broken for a reroll comp, aka like Prowler Smeech, or like you get a ranged item for Nocturne, like it's not actually that often that you can get the supporting items for that comp. But like say like look at my right now, I've tier belt Cloak. If I get one of the really, really good artifacts for those lines, like I wouldn't really be able to make anything until like stage 3 probably. But when you can force 2 anvils, like I could probably just go for like 80 items off of that. It makes a Portable Forge a lot more reasonable. There's also just a lot of good hits for Trist as well. So I think this is a super reasonable take, but like something, what gives components on 2-1? I guess like Salvage Bin. But yeah, I would take Raining Gold over like Salvage for example. Support Cash I just don't think is great on 2-1. I default to Portable Forge, but then I see Starry Night. I mean, Starry Night is just much better econ than Raining Gold for reroll comp specifically. So that kind of changes my equation. And then I just take Starry Night. I think about it a lot because I do really value a lot of these artifact lines, but I already see someone's like hard forcing Smeech. So like one of those outs off of the Forge is already gone for me. So I kind of just decide off of this to just play Morgana. I'm starting on Morgana. It's pretty good. The main weakness of Morgana is having your blue buff delayed and then not being able to push levels. The old version of the comp where you played around Renata carry didn't have that many issues with that because you would be stable on like Renata 3, Rel 3. But right now you're not, and you need to be able to push level 8. So having like an augment or something that lets you like I guess skip the part of the mid game where you're weak is good. I mean, obviously like a real augment's good for a real comp. Yeah, anyways, I mean obviously the Rel hit's good. We're not really don't have to look that much at the rest of this game. The main thing is just recognizing on this Vibe portal that playing a reroll comp is very good, and like figuring out how to best navigate that is important. As in, even though I have just one Morgana, like the Starry Night and then like the tier, I can for example here, like why wouldn't you play Trist? Well, the answer to that is like I just have a blue buff. So and then like even though I got the Trist decks early, how would I even like go even about building Trist items in this hypothetical? Like I'd probably take bow off this first thing. I think I had a bow in there. Yeah, I would go bow, and then like where's the I don't even have an IE component. It's just 2 delayed. So yeah, we just play Morgana. I think I went second, but not really important. Just talking about the early game. Yeah, win streaked really hard after I hit or something. And 1 second. Next game. Yeah, this game was a little bit of high rolling. This dummy specifically, off the bat, you always want to play an Elise with this because you have Bruiser Black Rose. So you can basically play around any board that plays Elise, which is many boards. So I don't think this dummy forces you into one specific thing or anything. Obviously the high rolls here are 8 Pit Fighter and 7 Black Rose. Yeah, 8 Pit Fighter, 7 Black Rose, but you can also just play like Sorks even. You can play Silco, you can play like even Twitch, you can play Pit Fighter, you can play like Form Swapper, like 4 Form Swapper Emissary. You can do so much here. What I'm thinking right now is I just really want an Econ Augment so I can have the money to hard force whatever makes sense to do later. Like I'm not really trying to commit early on 2-1. I'm trying to like see some high rolls that might happen later and then have the money to be able to capitalize off of that. I mean, I would take Raining Gold over Portable Forge here. When last game I wouldn't, right? That's an interesting thing. Just for augments, I don't really think you're allowed to take Mace Will on 2-1. It's just too slow. Doesn't really give me a slam. Category 5 is good for Ezreal. Like, in theory, you could take Category 5, tempo, play Twitch, make like an even Trout, half IE. But as we said, like, I really just want to be hard forcing Econ. And what doesn't kill you is Econ. So I just go with that and full open. Like, I just tell myself that my high roll is going to come later and I want to have the gold to capitalize off of that out of anything. Pumping up an investment strategy don't really fit into that game plan either, so I just open. Something really funny happens here, or like, I guess it's funny, but it's also interesting. There's someone else in this lobby that has my augments and is opening. You can't sell the golem. And then I reasoned to myself that it was fine to sell because I looked at his thing, and since he has sniper emblem, his golem is always gonna auto attack mine first, and I reasoned that like he was always gonna beat me, so I could just full open and guarantee the 5 loss no matter what happens. And I think it happened, or it did happen, but I can't remember what round. Literally the most niche interaction in the game. Yeah, if you want to 5 loss, be careful if you have sniper emblem. The fucking most niche interaction of all time. But yeah. So we still don't really have the line yet. We have a lot of AD items. I mean, here I'm just committed though. I guess like the board, like I could still play around like 4 Emissary, but I'm definitely playing around some kind of melee board with these components. Like I have like BT Titan, Starax, QSS. I have so much room for like melee carries and so also even Shroud. So yeah, I just have so many melee carry items, so I just play around that and I Pit Fighter anyways. The high roll comes here. Since we recognized our spot in 2-1 and didn't try to like force a win streak that wasn't there, and we like knew our conditions to succeed, I have like even though I hit this high roll, I have the gold to capitalize off of that. So now I can like enter my level 8 roll down with a bunch of money. I also get another spat off of Carousel, which is, I mean, yes, it's high roll, but like what I do, like I even have enough money to roll on neutrals. I do it because there's like a Vi player, and like hitting even a Vi one is kind of important here, and I usually have enough money to justify this. And then like, yeah, you hit like the Vi J Civica, you have 8 Pit Fighter on 4-1, like yeah, it's high roll as fuck, but at least I recognize that like on this portal you do have to high roll, and you should try to play around that to the best of your ability. And I end up winning this game. 8 Pit is really strong. Someone ended up hitting 10 Rebel and 9 Scrap, but I was just too far ahead and had enough upgrades to beat them both. And it was a first. That's just an example of a game that's like when you're open-ended, like prioritizing econ and loose streaking to capitalize when the conditions arise. Let's go to next game. I believe it's another Vi portal. Again, like we talked about here, the reroll clumps being a much higher prio. Like, it's not impossible to play tempo on this. You just have to be very, very strong because people are going to be playing boards with full item carries. You can't really expect that like your mid to low roll board is really going to be able to streak. So we're not holding Morganas here, I guess, because we don't have tier. Holding step pair, this pair is good. Holding this for the Zyra pair. Holding this for the Vlad. I mean, you could buy Morgana over like Powder Draven. I guess I don't have like any Singed or like Rels or something. Yeah, I don't have a tier. Something that's also, I mean, okay, I feel like this one's very self-explanatory, but I'll explain why it's self-explanatory. Can I go to like a screen where I just show all 3 augments quickly? Okay. To me, this is very self-explanatory. Something that, like, in the same vein that reroll comps are a lot stronger on Vi Portal, so are hero augments, even to a further degree. I want to say like 80 to 90% of the time I ever take hero augments, it's on this portal or the artifact anvil one. The reason being is that hero augments become so much stronger when you can get a 3-item version of them early, and that's just not really going to happen that often without these portals. 3 items on any unit is just so strong, but 3-item on a hero augment early is like you're just going to be unbeatable with how like all the multiplicative scaling works. And I already have good components for Steb. I have 2 Stebs. It's kind of just a no-brainer pick. This is like probably the most obvious pick out of like the whole tournament, like for comps to play. And then I just play Steb to a 3rd, and that's how I selected my line. And then yeah, with 3rd. Pictures Vision. This one doesn't really change what comps are good at all, so I don't really think about it that much. Only thing like you maybe should consider is like if you're playing a reroll comp, maybe you roll after Wolves, like roll deep after Wolves than before Wolves, but like I don't think about it that much. So we get a TF drop here. Obviously, that's like somewhat of a sign to play Quick Strikers, but I don't think that's enough of a reason. I think my items would have to be good, and maybe I'd have to hit like some Akali's and Sentinels. Definitely willing to play TF if I need to. So we have Morgana 2 here. I did end up playing Morgana reroll before today, on the day. But again, I don't really think it's even worth buying unless you could drop the tier, because this unit doesn't do anything without blue buff. So yeah, I ended up even selling Morgana 2. You got some pretty interesting options. I don't think you take Crown or Crown Guard. Law Enforcement, not that great unless you have like Steb 2, Maddie 2 with like the 4th Enforcer. I mean, I have the 4th Enforcer, but I don't have the other stuff. And then it's so Heroic Grab Back. You can take on 2-1 for a couple things. It's like a fine, like I think of it in 2 ways. Like you can use it for like Giga Tempo, as in you get a good 3 cost to duplicate. You double Nico it immediately and try to win streak. Especially if you have like an item slam for that. Units you can justify that on is like Swain, GP. I've seen people do it on Blitz, but I don't think it's great on Blitz. Speech is another one. Like any of those units, you can like double Nico and make a whole game plan around that. Like in theory, I have this TF, but like I don't even have a Shojin for them. Like it's gonna be hard to get a Shojin. Like I don't have Quick Striker either, so I don't really think that's the play. If I took lesser Nikos here, it would be like trying to aim to use it later, which is also something you could do. You can use it as like insurance on your reroll comp, or you can use it for like a low roll protector, because like say your opener is bad, but like your opener wouldn't be bad if you hit like a Swain 2 off of Carousel, and then you just do a delayed version of the tempo version of the augment. But here, I see that my units don't really match each other. I don't really have a good slam besides IE. I don't really have a good IE holder. I kind of just decide to go what doesn't kill you again, because I think it's a very solid econ, and then I will just, I mean, I was trying to play what doesn't kill you into Quick Strikers. I see this Akali here. I think it's fine for Quick Strikers because you could just loose streak into 3-5 and do like a really deep level 7 roll down. 3-5, hopefully hit a bunch of TFs, Lorises, and Mbessas. But here I actually make a mistake. I don't think losing an econ here is a mistake if you can actually play Quick Strikers here. But my scouting was a bit poor, because there was someone who took Portable Forge into Snipers. And like in theory, he could play something besides Nocturne, but like I know this guy's playing Nocturne, man. And like one of my rules for myself is I'm not going to contest a reroll comp unless my spot is like genuinely way better than theirs. And I'm definitely going to be richer than this player, but I wouldn't say my spot's necessarily like better than them. I think from my angle, if I like continue to try to play TF and then like, okay, so the problem with actually playing this from like a losing position is I'm likely not going to be able to hit 3-star TF until a lot later, because it's just going to be contested. And since I'm going to be losing until 3-5, I'm not really going to have the HP to wait out until I hit. Like I'm just not going to have that buffer. So like contesting is bad in general, and I like almost never do it. But contesting is so bad from lost streak. I see this and I'm like, all right, I should just make 20 and then accept the fact that I lost a gold the previous turn. I wouldn't have even held the Akali or the TF if I saw this person earlier, but whatever, it's just 1 gold. And then here, we're still pretty open-ended. I honestly think it might be correct to hold this Rennie here. It would have ended up being good in my spot, because I genuinely think Kim Baron is like extremely broken if you know how to play it. This patch, even after all like the changes and stuff. So like I'm thinking like I can get like a Kim Baron off Carousel, but the problem is like you would have to find the Singed as well, even if you get like Renata or Rennie off of Carousel. There's the arguments that even in this previous shop, in fact, even the previous turn, I should hold Renata Singed. You know what? I think I made a mistake. I think I should hold Renata Singed here. If I think Kim Baron is that strong, because usually what you would do for what doesn't kill you in like an AD opener like this is like you would just hard force scrap. After all the scrap nerfs and stuff, I don't think like that strategy is that good. I should be holding Renata Singed, because I end up playing Smeech this game anyways, because I think Smeech from doing this is fine. And I get Kim Baron in like late stage 3. But looking at this now, I'm pretty sure I should just be holding them right now, because I think, I genuinely think Kim Baron's that strong. And like, yeah, you lose another econ interval, but the thing is, like, I'm getting 2 gold per turn from loss anyways. Money shouldn't be that much of an issue. It's not going to cost me that much in the long run. I'll still make some intervals later. I mean, I immediately get punished for it from the Riddy in the next shop. Most likely is I get to finish the Kim Baron off of Carousel. I mean, that's good to recognize at least, but I do think it's a mistake. And then off Carousel, I see the Smeech, and then I'm like, yeah, I'll just play Smeech, because I think this is one of the only comps that can pop off from Lost Streak. It caps high enough. So yeah, rest of the game's not really important. I just choose to play Smeech, go for mid-game cash outs, take scaling augments, roll a bunch on 7, hit Smeech 3, then I think I went second this game. So yeah, I guess like the reason they go specifically Smeech there is one, I get like a Smeech off Carousel, but like what other comps, like I guess I was willing to play Quick Strikers if I knew it was uncontested. So I guess in that angle, it's like either Smeech or Quick Strikers. I don't think there's really any 2-cost comps you could justify doing that. I think Zeri's too weak. I think Tristana needs stacks. 4-cost comps, you could like obviously do Scrap. You could like Emissary Corki. You could like play an AP line. You could do like Silco or Sorks. But I think that's a little bit more risky than just playing Smeech or TF. And when I see the Smeech, I think it's pretty obvious, but I should have been holding the Kim Barons earlier. I don't think my econ was that important. A pretty good second. That's Vibe Portal. Again, told you I saw a lot of these, and that will continue. Get Smeech and TF. I think Smeech is good enough to win streak early. Probably going to play one of these 2 comps, Smeech or TF. I get a bow drop, so I'm just thinking Smeech because it's like half Titans, half like Hodge or something. And then even though like Smeech is Kim Baron, like you're definitely fine loose streaking into him. He's also pretty strong on stage 2 if you get like 2 Ambusher and some good frontline for him. Like if I hit a Camille here, my board is just strong. I have more 80 items. Augment here. Again, talked about how much we like econ on this portal. The first 2 are econ. Lunch money is just not guaranteed. You think like you're going to be pretty strong with the Smeech and have items, and you are, but the whole lobby is going to be strong. It's not necessarily any type of guarantee you're going to get money out of this. Crafted crafting gets a lot better. I mean, yeah, it gets a lot better on this portal because you get an extra 2 rerolls that you normally wouldn't get. So I'm probably just defaulting crafted crafting. Also taking this augment, I get to like slam. My plan is actually to level and use like a couple of the rolls to like either find Ambusher or Kim Baron. Component buffet, it gets a lot worse when you can already guarantee some components already. I was actually thinking about Silver Spoon. Delayed start is actually more money than this by a decent amount. Problem with delayed start is 1, you can't open the anvils on delayed start. Wait, can you? No, you can't because you can't see your shop. And 2, I already have this Smeech and the Steb 2. I already have like an opener I want to play around, and crafting is just good anyways here. I kind of mess up the items here. I go like bow again here, and I make like a red buff. Like it ends up like not mattering, but like even in this game, I kind of regretted it and thought I should have just like gone like glove and not slammed anything or something, because this still like delays my Titans for a while, and then red buff is not that great in ambushers. I also don't even use the rolls. I think I use the rolls like this turn because I do think it's correct to roll for the ambusher and stuff. But yeah, I'm just Smeech here. I think it's fine to play Smeech from win streak, but I believe I hit Kim Baron some. Yeah, I hit Kim Baron here, and then I just like decide that I want to start loose streaking immediately, and then end up just like full loose streaking basically, and then it's another second. I mean, that one's pretty obvious. Smeech on 2-1 on Vibe Portal where you can get items, and then I prioritize Econ Augment to help me hit my Smeech. Yeah, it's good. Let's go to day 2. Just to recap on day 1, I think it was 3-2-1 4-2-2 or something. That puts me at 40 points for the day, which is extremely good for this tournament format. I'm not really going to describe the tournament journey in that much detail because I think this video is mainly about like just choosing your lines. Not really about like that much else. That was an extremely good day 1. Let's go to day 2. Vibe Portal again. I think that's Vibe Portal number 4. Yeah, everything we talked about earlier still applies. Same thing here. If I get a tier here, I'm willing to sell the steps for Morganas, but since I don't, I don't. I was also considering selling something for Camille. I don't know, sometimes you can play around Camille early with like step pair, but I didn't really see anything. You could buy Camille over 1 step and an Aurelia, but it's whatever. There's no way you sell the Draven pair, there's no way you sell the Violet pair. The GP pairs well with both of those, and the Draven pairs well with both of those, so yeah. It's just like, do you like step pair more, Camille 1 more? Or for the other city, I think Kimbaron's broken, but I don't think it's broken unless you can get it like on stage 2. Like, you don't even have to have it on 2-1, but you need it like stage 2 somehow. Say, like, I had a Smeech. Would I take this if I had a Smeech? No, obviously I would take this if I had a Smeech, but would I take it if I had a Singe? Probably not. Maybe if you have like a Rennie, you can take it, or if you have a Renata, you can take it. I probably would take it if I had a Renata here, but I don't. Warpath is just unpickable in tournaments. And then Cat 5's pretty good. Main decision tree here would be Slammin' and play towards some level 8 comp, or Cat 5 and play around Ezreal, or do something that I also did. I know I like this. I know I said that like Econ is so good on this Vibe Portal, but if I take Slammin' here, it completely locks me out of playing a reroll comp, and like reroll's also good on this. So I end up just taking Cat 5 here, and then I flex between Family and Ezreal. And this Draven 2 makes it pretty easy to do that. Or pretty easy to play Family. Looking for bows here mostly. It should just be Belt for Sterak's. Yeah, no bow here kind of sucks. I mean, these anvils were actually pretty terrible. Probably Cloak. Yeah, I would make just Even Shroud immediately, right? Yeah, Even Shroud and then pull the rest of the components. And I'm like kind of still willing to play Ezreal here. However, if Family looks more uncontested and I'm still notching more of the units, I'll just play Family. Like, I think here it's probably like 80% Family. Say I get like a really, really good shop for Ezreal next shop somehow. Like, I'll consider it, but this is probably just Family. I guess I'm still willing to play Ezreal until like the end of stage 3, or like if I have to like sell something for Econ. Like after Krugs, you should be like 100% committed here if you are thinking about playing a 1-cost comp. And I'm uncontested, so this makes it good. Yeah, I think I just play Family here for like a solid top 2. This usually doesn't happen, but for some reason I'm just 94 HP because of, I guess the lobby was just weak and I had like Cat 5. Yeah, solid top 2. On to next game. Last log of Prismatic. Doesn't really change that much. Just play your game normally. Also, just as a note, I think Zeri is like so bad after the nerfs. I just don't even hold her. I think a lot of players at this tournament didn't think that, and they did pretty badly because they had Zeri as one of the main parts of their game plan. I didn't play a single game of Zeri, and I think I did pretty well for myself. So yeah, here we're pretty wide open. Hit Zyra 2. Oh yeah, this game was weird as hell. I don't think you can take no scout your pivot for any comp besides Morgana reroll or Family. Sometimes you can take it for like Tristana, I guess, or like Zeri if I like Zeri sometimes, but not here. Clockwork Excel is just trolling on 2-1. Spoils of War when I don't have a good slam for my board is bad. I think Automata, like I don't like playing Automata either. So this is like the scenario I was talking about earlier of using Lesser Nikos as a low roll protection. As in, my opener is not good right now, but say I hit a singular Swain off of like getting one off of Carousel or just naturally one on stage 2. Is I have a really, really good Sork line, because like I don't have a slam right now, but like I could, with these components you can make it work. Like JG, Guardbreaker, Red Buff, Shiv, random belt out in front line. And then I could also play around like GP with this. You have a Last Whisper, all that stuff. You can play around Ezreal. You can go for like Rudon's, play around Ezreal. Unfortunately, the units just don't come. I don't get enough Carousel. I don't think Rennie's good enough to duplicate. I think this is probably the hardest game of this tournament. So here, my game plan is still like I just want to hit one Swain, and then I'll play Sorks. So I'm even willing to like roll on stage 4 a bit. I have a lot of tank items as well. Yeah, I just go for a level 6 roll down and like try to find like a Swain, basically. And some like other stuff. I did hit a GP, but I didn't feel like my board was good enough to justify that. So after I see this shop, I'm like, I decided just to Lesser Nico the Ezreal. And even here, I fucked up because I saw Loris pair. And then I could have like Nico'd Ezreal and Loris. And then, yeah, I think I was too tunnel vision on playing around Swain, unfortunately. Kind of ignored this out. The other thing about this lobby is that there's a bunch of like Sentinel players playing around Alawi. So I was like very, very contested if I play around like this Ezreal and stuff. So I think I actually end up going for like a Twitch pivot here, but you could also pivot into like Mbessa Corki, I guess. Rageblade's not that great for that, but oh well. You have units for scrap here, but I think these items for scrap are kind of shit, especially the tank items. And I'm kind of broke anyways, so I end up kind of just going for a Twitch pivot. I just take red buff, blue buff here because I don't think my spot's great, and I'm just trying to Nico something fast to save placements. Don't have the Twitch stuff yet. Yeah, this pivot's kind of slow. And I'm holding a bunch of trash on my bench, probably for too long. And we eventually get there. Now, I don't think this comp is amazing. I like to try to avoid it somewhat, but like my board right now would be pretty good if I hit like a Caitlyn, for example. That's kind of just what I'm hoping for, and I think I hit it soon. Not here, probably after neutrals. And I'm not gonna say this is like a very well played game, because I think I probably could have just played around the Loris and have been stronger for late game, and then maybe just contested the Sentinel players anyways. I mean, if I hit a swing this game, it would have just been super easy in the mid game. Do kind of get bet out with the Caitlyn, and now I can actually somewhat win some rounds, and I think I actually end up going 4th. I think it's a very lucky 4th, but it is what it is. So yeah, this was one of my examples of like a very open end game. Ideally, you don't really want your games to end up like this because it's way too fucking hard. But I wasn't trying to play it in a way that was hard. I was trying to play it in a way where like I set up my game in a way that like if I hit a Swain here, my game would be easy as fuck because I'd be uncontested Sorks. I know I'm not scouting around to like show you guys this stuff, but I do remember this game. I being uncontested and all that shit. Just speaking off of memory. Also, I can't really go in and like show you their guys' board very fast. So yeah, like in this spot here, I'm so well set up to play Swain here. I know like the items are a little sus, but you can always just reforge sword or something or chain for better aping opponents. And then Swain 2 here, I'd just be fine. But yeah, and then the game becomes hard after like because you're not supposed to skip those like the Ezreal Corki shop like that. You aren't for sure, but I end up doing it, or like it puts me in an awkward position where like I'm just playing a flex TFT, which is not great. Like the goal is to not end up in games like this, but sometimes like you just kind of have to. I guess for a note to like how to play this game better is just I guess my roll down could have been a little bit more efficient. Like I could have had the like the Loris too, and maybe just like stuck to my guns of like committing to playing around Sentinels more. I shouldn't have been that scared of the contesting, I guess. But 4th is still amazing for this game. I mean, 4th is way above average for this spot for sure. Because another Vibe portal. Keeping the Morgana out open, keeping the family out open, and then yeah, gloves off. I mean, what we talked about earlier about reroll and hero augments being very good on this Vibe portal still stands. Also just have like a full BT. It's kind of just a no-brainer pick. And I mean, this game kind of plays itself, and I go second. If you want to see how these games actually play out, the VODs are up on my Twitch. Let's see if I can remember it off of memory. I think it was no encounter. Oh, it was Victor Vision. Close enough. So this is a gold opener here. You can tell because I got more than 6 gold. Sometimes it can be correct to like full sell your bench here if the units that you have aren't good. But the units I have here are very good. I have the Swain to player on the Sorg opener and the Darius pair, and then I already have like the Violet pair. Hit the full family package, so I'm definitely interested in playing family. You could sell the Swain. I choose not to. Selling the right side of my bench is 10. You know what? I think I messed up here. I mean, Swain is an amazing unit. He's the best unit you can get out of Orb. But the thing is, if someone like just calls family, I'm not gonna play family here, right? But like, I could still play it as an opener, and it's still gonna be stronger than whatever Swain board I can make because I'm not really gonna have any slams. Like, if I'm playing around Swain, I'm not really willing to make even shroud anyways. So like, it kind of makes the Swain not less valuable. Like, what scenario makes Swain like an amazing hit here? I guess like Conqueror +1, like Conqueror +1, but I wouldn't even take Conqueror +1 unless someone could test family. So I would have to hit like Conqueror +1, and someone would have to call family in order for this to be correct, I think, to hold it. I think the timers ran out. I just didn't think about it that much. At the end of the day, it's 1 gold. I'm way more likely to play family here than Swain. And even if I just play it as an opener, I can sell the Swain as well. So I guess tally another misplay, but it's not a big deal. I guess we talk about the augments, because it's kind of open-ended still. I really don't like taking generic combat on 2-1. I try to avoid it if possible at all. Item grab bag I don't love here. I mean, item grab bag is a little better, because like if I get AP, I can play around Swain, but I really want to keep this family line open, and the AP items for powder aren't really going to do that much in that comp. Risky moves is usually very good, but obviously you need a strong opener to take it. And I do have the Swain, but I don't have, like, if the 2 components I have here are a good slam, I think you can kind of justify it, but I'm not really willing to make an even shard right now. So I'm not really a fan of any of these. I'm just looking for something better to take off of rerolls. I don't really love Divested Portfolio. I think you can take this one if you have exactly the Camille Powder Trundle Steb opener, because then that's 2 gold a turn, starting 2-1. I think that actually gets kind of cracked. Oh no, it's every 3. I think they like re-nerfed it again. Okay, never mind. I just never take this shit on 2-1. I lied. Risky is, yeah, I'm not interested. And then I would much rather take Band of Thieves over item grab bag, but I roll that, and then I hit Pandora's Bench. Pandora's Bench, it's like an okay augment. I think it's best in 1-cost reroll, actually. It's technically not its best in 1-cost reroll. It's more efficient for like 3 and 2 costs. But the problem for using it for 3 and 2-cost reroll is holding that much gold on your bench is just so expensive. And it makes like rolling for natural units very hard. Using this augments to play around 1-cost reroll is a lot better just because of how cheap the units are to hold on your bench. Lets you make intervals earlier, lets you roll for stuff earlier, roll for upgrades earlier, and lets you roll more. So I think this is usually its best for 1-cost reroll, especially 2-1. I don't really think you should be taking this on 2-1 for anything besides 1-cost reroll. I think on 3-2, you can take this for 2 and 3-cost comps if you're really, really rich, just because holding the units on bench is super expensive, and then you need to be rich and healthy as well, because there's no guarantee on when you hit with this augment. But on 2-1, especially with a gold opener, I think this goes up a lot in value for 1-cost reroll, because I can hold basically all the 1-cost I want, reroll them, and I can still make 10 because of it being a gold opener. So I think the augment is like crazy value here. I could just take it and play family, and that's what I do. Say I had more upgrades and like a different slam, I would for sure be willing to take TG and play around like the Swain Sorg opener and actually tempo here, but that's just not the case. I guess if there's anything to quickly note on this, I think Pandora's is very good when you have a gold opener for 1-cost reroll. You see here, I'm just holding a bunch of 1-cost pairs, or 1-cost, I'm not really holding any pairs, and I'm still making 10, so I just turbo hit all my units this game. I think I hit on like 3-5 or something. I mean, I hit Draven even earlier, I think. I hit Draven on 3-2, I guess Violet on 3-6 with 80 HP. Yeah. This is way ahead of tempo for 1-cost reroll, and kind of hard to bot for from the spot. I believe I went second or third. I don't remember. I think it's a third. My items are kind of shit. But it's only like that game can easily be a first or a second if the lobby is a little bit weaker, but I think the lobby was just strong. Another Victor's Vision. Got pretty good luck with the portals. They weren't really that impactful for me. There's only like one Mbessa game, no loot sub game, no Mel's Blessing. Yeah. If I were to note anything about this opener, it's that it's like kind of trash so far. I don't really have any upgrades, a bunch of pairs. And with this cloak drop, I don't really have any slams I love. I think in really, really high tempo spots, you can slam Stoneplate if you have like a strong holder and a good backline. But in a spot like this where I have neither, I don't think it's great. Beggars Can't Be Choosers, which is the first augment I rolled. Not really that much of a fan of. I'm mostly just defaulting to good for something here. This is an augment I really, really love if I have a bad opener, because it gets you the econ to catch back up, and if you don't have a slam, which I don't really have right now, the downside doesn't really matter. So I think this is one of the best augments I can hit from the spot. Only thing better would be something like Delayed Start. I think Delayed Start is usually what you would take in a spot where good for something is good, but it's usually better than that. But I think good for something's great as well. Just take generic econ when your opener is bad is, I guess, the main idea here. And it looks like this game is open-ended. I think most people would look at the spot and think it's open-ended. But here, I want you to guess, like, I'm 100% committed to a comp right here. 100% committed to the comp. And look, like, I want you, as like an exercise, to look at the spot and like guess what comp that is. It's Quick Strikers, and not because I have that Nocturne in the shop. The reason it's Quick Strikers here is, I guess I'm not 100% committed, but it's like 80%. One is the items. I think the items, like the open tier, makes the Playground TF is pretty good. And with this augment, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to be loose streaking all of stage 2 and likely most of stage 3. And I need a comp that can roll like mid to late stage 3 and on early stage 4 to like come back from my HP. So it's going to be a comp that can play on level 7 and level 6. I don't really think Fast 8 is that great here, because I just don't think Fast 8 loose streak is very good at all. I don't think the comps in the game are good enough to win out usually. So I think it's like 80% TF here. The 20% I would not play TF is if I got Kim Baron, and then I would just play Kim Baron Visionary instead. Go for Heimer, Rinny, that comp. But otherwise, because the thing is, like, Visionary Kim actually is strong enough to win out from low HP, but that requires having Kim. So it's either Quick Striker or that comp. I think I actually Singed, which goes against what I said, but like, I think I just wasn't thinking about it that much. Because I was just thinking I was going to hard force TF. Yeah, I went for like Rod of Carousel, hold the Akali. We're going to go for a pretty big Rod on here. Just as a note for augment here. Item augment goes crazy because I have a bunch of money. I have like Hodge Akali, I have Spark, I have like Shojin TF, and then I have like a chain. So just any item augment that can help me finish, like 3 item TF, 3 item Akali is going to be really, really good here. I hit Berry Treasures. And then I roll for like Akali 2 and TF1, hit that. But we're still not that strong. I lose this round. I don't remember if I lose the next one. Yeah, I lose the next 2 rounds. But then it's like, I already upgraded all my 2 costs. I don't really have that many more Akalis. So I'm just going to level and play around like TF primarily. Level and roll for like TF2. Also hit the Alawi, which makes my level 7 a lot better. End up rolling, hit TF2 and Mbessa. I'm going through this game because like, technically, like I've decided on the comp, but the way I navigate it, like, you can navigate this line in a lot of different ways. I guess 3 different ways, mainly. It's not a lot of different ways. You could roll on 6 for the 2 cost. Usually not Nocturne unless it's ranged, but it would be like you would roll for like the Akali, the Rel, the Nocturne still. You can roll on 7 for the 3 cost, the TF and the Loris, and like the Akali as well somewhat. Or in my case, where I don't really have that many copies and I'm low on HP, you can push levels and stabilize around Mbessa 2, TF2 for a while. That's gonna fall off eventually, but if you have enough tempo, you could like go 9 or even at TF3 on 8. But I decided to do the third option of pushing levels just because I think my HP is low and I would lose out if I stayed on 7 here. Also, my level 7 is great because it gives me the 4 Sentinel. So yeah, I decided to just push levels. Call it a case because a bunch of gold helps with that. I think I hit Mbessa 2 after this turn, and I end up like win streaking all of stage 4, early stage 5. And that's like enough for a top 4 already. And then I high roll Share Your Energy, the best augment in this comp. And then that's enough to get me top 2. And I went second this game. And no self glazes is probably my best second of the tournament, because I took like a relatively open-ended opener. Like it was an open-ended lower opener, and I knew exactly what to play, the times to roll, and I like capitalized off the timing perfectly. Sorry for the self-glaze though. The thing is like yeah, I'm delaying my TF3 by like leveling and stuff, but I'm just like staying ahead of the lobby. And even the fact that I'm beating these players by like a lot of units actually matters a lot, because everyone's gonna cap higher than me. I don't have a prismatic. I'm playing reroll without being able to reroll like Akali even. Like I'm playing reroll without the ability to reroll, and I don't have a prismatic. So I kind of have to kill this lobby before they kill me. So that's like part of the reason why we're leveling as well. If I didn't have Share Your Energy here, I would probably just go 4th. But I mean, 4th from that opener, I think is amazing. The fact that it's like a second here is incredible. Yeah, I went second here. The lesson of this game is like prioritizing econ when you're lose streaking and knowing what exact comps you could play from your lose streak spot, mainly. All right, next game. I think it's another Vibe Portal. It's like 5 or 6. So many games. We get a bunch of Sentinel openers, or Sentinel opener. I hold Nocturne here instead of Leona, like just for the case I get like the ranged artifact, mainly. It's a pretty low chance, but if I do hit a ranged artifact, I would be really happy I held it. I think left was Warpath. Yeah, you don't click Warpath. And I think the middle and right are just also bad augments onto one. Again, just looking for econ or real prio. And like Trade Sector is like the most vanilla. It's probably the weakest and like the most boring version of like your reroll augment, but I still think it's fine. I guess I could have held like the Violet pair and like maybe played Family, but I think someone had a better spot for it or something, if I remember right. So here I'm mostly thinking about Ezreal. Not necessarily Ezreal reroll just yet, but Ezreal in the sense of like I can just be super stable the second I hit an Ezreal because I have 80 items and I have the Rebel opener. And then you can play that Ezreal Rebel opener into so many different things. You can play it into just like 6 Sentinel Quirky Ezreal. You can play it into Rebels. You can play it into more of an Academy angle, like 4 Sentinel Academy. You can play it into like a bunch of different quirky variations. So that's mostly what I'm thinking about here. I know I said I like reroll more in this portal, but I don't really have a very obvious reroll line yet. I do end up playing reroll this game, but that's mostly just because I naturaled some units. I didn't really have a good Morgana spot, no Tears. I didn't really have a good Family. I mean, I had an okay Family spot, but someone else was playing it, and I don't really want to contest. Quick Strikers, you could maybe think about it here for sure. I believe someone called it, but you definitely could. But like Trade Sector here, you could also just like play around like Swain maybe, or like Sorks, because like you could just like use your natural rolls to hit all the Sorks. I choose to make 80 items though, because as soon in my mind, as soon as I hit Ezreal 1, it just opens up like 5 lines for me, and I'm confident playing like any of those. I don't think Kinsu's great for Ezreal. Like it's fine, but you definitely just want to prioritize Runons. So I make the IE with that game plan of hitting one Ezreal makes me strong. I also end up like holding these like Trists as well, and fighting like the Trists. But yeah, here's the one Ezreal I was talking about. Now I'm like super strong. You don't have to play this into reroll. Like this could easily just be a tempo spot, which is what I was primarily thinking about. The neutrals dropped me a Tristana pair, a Tristana 2 and a Rel pair. So I'm like in this spot, I'm like, yeah, I'll just play Tristana. I'm only 1 rod off of your typical Tristana as well with Gunblade Ginsu. Even though I don't really have any stacks for her, it should be fine because 3-item Trish should be able to farm plenty of stacks. And I'm already playing around the Sentinel front line because I already cared about Ezreal. I guess like me slamming the 80 items and leveling also opened up this line as well, right? It technically also opens up the Zeri Sentinel line, which would be something I would be willing to play like the previous patch when I think Zeri was a bit stronger. This patch I don't think it's great though. Yeah, it's just recognizing there that like the Trade Sector level roll opens up this Triss line, and it opens up like all the Ezreal tempo lines as well. And I think this game's a 3rd, which is pretty typical for your Tristana reroll. And that's day 2. And if you notice, haven't buffed for it a single time yet. We're sitting comfortably in the first place standings. The thing is, for day 3 in this regionals tournament, the points reset. It did secure myself a world slot, top 4 in these first few days, and I'll be playing in worlds in 2 weeks from now, basically, or it's a little bit less than 2 weeks now, like a week and a half. And this is final lobby. This first game, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of out of it. I don't think this is my best played game. Yeah, I don't think I was locked in. So here, Experiment Crest, I don't have a Zyra. It's not fantastic. Also, even if I did have the Zyra, I don't really have good slams for it. You could like duplicate like honestly, it's like fine to take Experiment. It's pretty reliant, I think, the Zyra. I think the first one was like Scavenger. You're not allowed to take that onto one. Third plated is really, really good for streaking most of the time, and it's not that bad late game if there are enough AD players. I made a mistake this game though. You can see like as I scout around. Because I don't think it's worth taking this if there's a lot of AP players. And as I scout around, I think every single player has a tier, basically. I think Darthop's playing AD, but like Pressman's AP, Wasian's AP, this guy's AP. There ends up being like 5 AP players, and I'm over here playing, and then I took the Bramble Augment. It did win streak me stage 2, but I was just super, super weak stage like 3 and stuff. Should I just be like reforging Rod and be playing Family here? Probably. Because I got like Trade Sector, right? I could just reforge Rod, play Trade Sector Family. Okay, is that good though? You could also just take Raining Gold and play your standard 4-cost trash. Yeah, I don't like Trade Sector, reforge Rod, play Family. I don't think it's that good. I think with as many AP players as there were, I should have just taken Raining Gold and played around. I mean, you can even play around like TF sometimes, but I should have taken Raining Gold and played something else. I did 5 streak, which is good, but the Bramble just ends up being a dead item later. Kind of thinking about Sorks mainly. Problem is Sorks are like super contested this lobby as well. Like we noted all the AP players. I see this Ezreal. I think you could drop like really good items for Ezreal as well. There's an IE and a bow. I don't know if this is correct. God, it probably isn't even correct. I reasoned with myself that AP was too contested and that I should just play around this Ezreal mainly. But like looking at the spot, like, is that even true? What would I do? I would reforge Chain. I think you always reforge Chain here regardless, just because it's an AP lobby. Oh no, I think I reforge Chain first, and then I get a Runons, and then I decide to play Ezreal. I think that's what happens. I think I was still trying to play AP here, but then I see my Chain. Yeah. I think that's more acceptable. Like, I had the Runons, right? So yeah, here I'm just decided to play around some kind of Ezreal line. Technically, you can maybe play Twitch or like just other quirky lines from this spot. And then I take forward thinking to secure my comp, which I think makes a lot of sense here. Thing is, the Sentinels and stuff just became contested randomly in the mid game. I think after this point, I messed up a bit, and I should have been more willing to play Emissary Corki and roll down for like Garen 2, Corki 2 and stuff. But I kind of tunnel vision on the Sentinels. I mean, this is a very, very hard roll down to do, especially if you're like straddling between 2 comps. Yeah, I end up selling like Garen pair and there's the Corki. I mean, it's likely if I had Garen pair that early, I would have hit Garen 2, Corki 2. I would have enough to play that line 100%. And then I just end up in this weird hodgepodge Sentinel board, Ezra Corki with an Elise 2 on it. And like, there are some strong aspects of the board I have, but not not that many. And I ended up just taking a pretty bad 7th. What I'll say is I don't know if the 2-1 augment would have changed that much. I do think it's incorrect to take the augment I did over raining for gold. After that, I should have been like, I should have played Garen because I hit more Garens and stuff. Sentinels were very contested this lobby. I kind of committed too early, but it's kind of hard because the roll downs are just hard. And then I just take a 7th here for first and only bot 4 of this tournament. Spoiler for the next few games. This is all prismatic, I think. Yeah, all prismatic. Get a Darius 2, a Mumu pair. You dropped IE or BT slam, so definitely gonna play her in either melee or AD most of the time. And then here we have interesting options. I think Suppose is trash. Dual purpose is okay, but it's, I mean, not really. I don't think this augment's that great unless you have an econ opener, so not really interested in taking it either. Level up, kind of same thing, but it's usually a bit more acceptable because it gives you level 5 early. But Pit Fighter here is actually pretty fucking good because it basically gives me 3-item Darius too, and that's really, really good for the early game. It also scales 1 to mid game because Darius pairs with Draven, which is a Pit Fighter as well. 1 cost very easy to hit. This gives me a GP, which gives me security in the backline. So my items will end up working really, really well if I take this, because it gives me 1, it gives me 3-item Darius, which should just solo all of stage 2, and then 2, the leftover component I'm left with is Glove after I make BT on him, which is probably the best component you can have for open backline GP, because it's half IE, half Last Whisper. So my board just ends up being insane, and my components just end up being insane. And even though I don't think this line of Vertical Pit Fighter is amazing, I think if you play it from so many advantages of just tempo and items, it has to be good. The main weakness of this comp is that typically you're not going to be in a spot where you can actually win streak around Pit Fighters. I think the pit fighter boards in the mid game are actually pretty weak unless you have like 3-item melee carries, because I mean melee carries are the units that want items the most because they care about survivability and damage. Usually don't have stacked melee carries in the mid game with lack of components. But here, that's not an issue for me, number one. Number two, I'm just going to be win streaking anyways because my opener is just insane. Or no, the weakness about the comp is like they don't win streak in the mid game, but you're also very, very reliant on hitting one exact unit on your roll down, Vi 2. If this comp does not have Vi 2 pretty early on stage 4, it's just going to bleed out and die. If you're healthy early, you can maybe scam a 4th, but otherwise you're just going to be bot 4ing. But if you get a full win streak, that gets around a lot of the weaknesses of the comp. But yeah, I end up just like 100 streaking off of that. I do natural GP2, which helps so much in my mid game. My early game is just strong enough that I'm just basically 1 to 2 rounds ahead of the lobby, as in like of the rounds I've hit my units. And then that's just enough of an HP lead to go second. I end up actually losing the majority of my late game fights. Doesn't really matter when you've won all of stage 4 even. Like I just had too much of an HP lead not to go second here. I lost to like a Chem Baron cash out, which is what it is. I guess it's just recognizing that even bad comps are worth playing if you have the god openers for them, and I would consider this a god opener for Pit Fighter just because of how strong I was immediately. Okay, this next game was pretty lucky that I top 4'd it because the opener was sus. Another Vibe Portal as well. So options here, I think Pilfer is just like kind of shit. I just don't like that augment that much. After they removed like, I think it used to give you like a bunch of initial gold or something. After they removed that, I've just not really liked it that much. I'm just not a fan of high voltage in general. I think most of the comps that want, or most of the AP comps in the game prefer Shiv over Spark anyways, and I don't think it gives you that much damage, like at all, for tempo. So I usually end up skipping it. One for All is good for family, like we said. I don't really have a spot for it. The augment's also pretty good for like Morgana, but like it's kind of good for Morgana. I don't really have a Morgana spot either. I think Spoils of Horror is just trash, and I don't have a Morgana spot. I'm kind of defaulting Clothing Facility here. I don't think this augment, this augment actually gives you a lot of power on stage 2 and stage 3. The problem with this augment is just the fact that you're taking a combat augment at all on stage 1. The fact that you're not taking an econ augment makes you kind of poor. Like a combat augment's never going to be stronger than an item augment. In this scenario where it's like, where I'm getting anvils and it can act as like a pseudo item augment, it's okay. Like it's a little bit better, but the thing is, I can't really make a 3-item carry on anyone with the items I have right now. But like an item augment over Cloning Facility would make me stronger because it gives me the opportunity to get a 3-item carry whereas my components are like with this cloak, it's not that likely that I'm gonna be able to make a 3-item carry until like stage 3, for example. So Cloning Facility is basically worse than econ because it just doesn't give me any econ, and it's also not gonna be stronger than an item augment on stage 2 because I don't really have a path to making a 3-item carry yet. But I just have to take it anyways because the other options are trash, and maybe it can give me a 5 streak is what I'm thinking. Just objectively, I think the best line you could take from this opener is Quick Striker. I have the Akali. I have a TF item holder in the Vex. I have 3 Rebel. I level for a pretty strong board, and I have AP items. The problem is, I believe Weijin or someone in this game had too much value. I just slammed this JG in order to play Quick Strikers here because I think it's a super obvious Quick Striker spot. But someone in this lobby has too much value, and that augment gives you a bunch of rerolls if you play a bunch of 2-cost units. And Quick Strikers, you can play a Quick Striker board with a bunch of 2-cost units. So typically, you just can't contest too much value. Like, I'm not going to be able to 3-star anything if I do that. If you can't really 3-star anything, this TF tempo comp, no econ augment 2-1 is gonna be 8th. So we have to figure out something else to do. With these items, it's primarily just gonna be Sorks. I make a Shojin as well. Problem with Sorks here is that you just have to go back and find everything, like all the Vlad and stuff, like the Nami and the Swain, which can't really fit in your board right now, so it's gonna be super expensive to do a pivot. I actually flirt with the idea of this being a Rebel game maybe, because I'm playing other Rebel units already. The reason I'm still showing this game is because I haven't actually committed to a comp yet. I think I made the mistake this game of keeping Rebels open. I think it actually ended up being a mistake. I delayed my roll down and stuff too long because I was dizzy trying to flex between them, and I think it might have cost me placements. And I should have just committed to Sorks earlier. I think I'm just getting lucky with matchmaking, dodging the super strong players, but turns out these items and the Cloning Facility are enough to win streak stage 3. If I didn't get the streak, probably would not have top forward because I'm kind of broke. Even with win streaking, I'm so broke because I'm taking I didn't streak the whole game, and I don't have econ augment 2-1, and I'm guessing Krugs didn't give much money either. The streak makes the spot playable. The problem with this is that I do have items and stuff for Sorks, but I don't have enough money to justify full pivoting yet, or enough units either. And I'm still flirting with the idea of playing Rebels far longer than I should be. Even off I get a LeBlanc off Carousel, And then I still don't like open sell the rebels and stuff, which is just like crazy. I'm still doing this like play around 2 different things on roll down when it's just very obviously a rebel Sork spot here. So yeah, I end up like delaying my roll down and not open selling enough. And I mean, I still have like a TF on my board and like an allow on my board because like I'm just like apprehensive for no reason. Mostly just because I'm like dizzy. Like I think I only committed to not playing rebels after I hit like deep roots for Garen, but I should have been committed after as soon as I get this LeBlanc of Carousel. And honestly, even beforehand, just because rebels, like if you're not like full win streaking or and like you like natural allowy, you hit like an early jinx, it's like not really worth playing. So I end up playing Sorks. Get a bunch. I think I get a bunch of money off Raptors and trying to go fast 9. I mean, I do go fast 9. Good thing is the rest of the lobby is like weak enough to make this okay. I dipped down to 4 HP, but I do beat the rest of the lobby and ended up going 4th. I think maybe with a better played stage 4, I could have gone like 2nd or 3rd. Not 2nd. I probably could have gone 3rd. Because I was stronger than both Think Memes and Pressed Event. Maybe I could have gone 2nd. But I just lose to a Kim Baron cash out. Well, I'm not going to beat him anyways, even if I played stage 3 better. Or stage 4 better. Maybe 2nd or 3rd. But yeah, that game... How would I discuss that game in terms of picking my line? I guess that's like a cautionary tale of being too flexible. Like I lost a bit of HP that I shouldn't have, but it's also recognizing that like with my 2-1 augments being that bad, it's like an exercise of like knowing that the only way that game is even playable is like streaking. So it's like an exercise of being very good with strongest board. I don't know what I'm saying, man, but this is like the fucking 14th game. I'm just yapping nonsense. Yeah, it's a 4th. Who cares? Go on to next game. Oh, I think I remember this game. I think this might be the most obvious spot of anything. I have Trist with double IE, or I have Trist 2 with IE. Yeah, I'm sure literally every single person that watches my channel could figure this one out. So we can skip the next game. It's not always this obvious. The thing is, even Trist pair, I would probably commit to Trist here, but Trist 2 makes it way too obvious. And I went 2nd this game, I believe, to 10 Rebel. I think this one's another Vi portal. Titanic Titan, you'd only take if you're playing Kim. The other ones are just generic combat. You don't really want to take generic combat 2-1 if you can avoid it. One for all. I don't really have a 1-cost reroll spot. No like Morganas or anything. I don't love Spoils of War, but in theory I have some very high value pairs. And my item's pretty good, honestly. And it's even more than that. It's Vi portal and it's a 5 item opener. So you're actually up 4 components on the average. Like I can 100% get a 3 item carry here. And even if I don't get a board strong enough to win rounds, I can get a board strong enough to kill units because a 3 item, like unless it's going against like a 3 item Amumu with like full tank items, my 3 item carry should be able to kill units always and get value out of spoils always. I mean, just any econ augments is pretty good here. And spoils is basically an econ augment. I kind of just choose to play Sorks here because these are really, really good Sork items. I have Zyra 2, I have Vlad. Should be enough to win early. And then it's just like playing the Sorks that I natural, and then I just play Sorks. But that's mostly just because I have Zyra 2 full AP items and a Vlad. I guess the thing to recognize here is how important taking an Econ Augment 2-1 is in that spot exactly. It's a 7 item opener basically. So any item augment is not going to be that much value because you already have a 3 item carry guaranteed, kinda. And then combat augments are always kind of bad on 2-1. So just makes Econ the very obvious pick there. And I believe I win streaked into 2nd with this opener. And then final game of the day. My placement in the tournament is not really determined up to me. I have to outplace Wasian by like 3, I think. But if he goes 3rd, he immediately wins the tournament. I'm just kind of hoping he has a bad spot. And I just play to whatever placement I can get. Right now I'm thinking about family because I have like all the family units basically. This tier is not great for family. I could be Morgana open kinda. Not really, though. And then Scavenger's bad, Replication's bad, Family Crest, good for family, obviously. I kind of thought about taking Superstars here. It's obviously not Superstars, it's just Family Crest. Because, like, I was thinking, like, oh, I could just get Family Crest later, and then Superstars will give me more amp and stuff, and that's pretty good. But the thing is, if I get Family Crest later, it's 5 family anyways. That's what I told myself, so. I took Family Crest here, and I actually decided to lose streak for the chance of getting 5 family off of Carousel with this open tier. Because I actually could have played for win streak with my spot, kind of. I mean, not yet, but as soon as I hit, I think I had like Violet 2 or something, and then I'm probably strong enough, but I deliberately choose the lose streak here. No spot though, but I end up just playing a pretty standard family game into a 2nd. I think I've done it like 3 times this tournament. I guess family from good conditions, if you know what you're doing with items and reroll timings and stuff, is pretty good. If you actually like want to know how I actually execute on these comps, which actually does matter, I do recommend watching the Twitch VODs. I think that's kind of outside of the scope of this video. This is mostly just about like how I select my lines and stuff. But yeah. After I got 2nd there, that was enough to secure me 2nd place overall in the tournament. Unfortunately, me doing super well in the first 2 days didn't matter for like winning because the points get reset. But that is what it is. I'm still pretty happy with the 2nd place. Got some things I can improve on for the World Championships or the set championships in like a week and a half from now. So yeah, hopefully you got something out of this rambling. I keep like telling myself I want to do like higher quality, like more higher quality content, but honestly, I'm kind of lazy. I kind of just prefer like just focusing on competing and then yapping after the fact. I'm thinking next set I might bring some like new type of videos on this channel where I just like yap about some random topics, yap about some random like TFT concepts. But who knows? It's too late in this set to yap about anything. Like I'm thinking about like talking about like specific augments that people think are like overrated or underrated or whatever. Like I'll have that like be like a series or something and just some other random ideas. For now, hope you got something out of this video, and hopefully I can in a few weeks I'll be uploading how I won Worlds again video. Copium. See you later. Bye.